There's a virus out there that kills almost everyone it reaches. Foaming, hallucinating, terrified of water, damn near 100% fatal. And it doesn't even make the shortlist for the most dangerous virus of 2026. That's not an oversight. Turns out the deadliest virus on Earth and the most dangerous one aren't the same virus. They're not even close. Let's do the obvious thing first. Ask someone for the scariest virus alive, and their brain goes straight to the horror shelf. Rabies. Basically 100% lethal once symptoms start. Ebola and Marburg, the ones that make you bleed from the inside and kill around half the people they touch. These are the celebrities of death, and they earned it. But here's the part nobody mentions. Rabies, the perfect killer. The virus that almost never loses, kills about 59,000 people a year worldwide. That's a rounding error. Malaria clears that in a month. So how does the single most lethal virus on the planet end up with such a modest body count? Because being deadly is only half the job. And rabies never shows up for the other half. A virus has to do two things to be truly dangerous. It has to kill the people it infects, and it has to reach a lot of them. Real danger is those two things multiplied together, never just one. And rabies is a flawless blade with no handle. It can barely pass from one human to the next, so it just sits there, lethal at whoever's unlucky enough to get bitten, and goes almost nowhere. Max out the killing, zero out the spread, and the whole thing collapses to almost nothing. Which means the truly dangerous virus was never the deadliest one. It's the one that's deadly enough and travels like gossip. And we know exactly what that looks like, because humanity already ran this experiment. 1918. The flu. Not some exotic jungle bug. The flu. The thing you get a pharmacy shot for. For every 100 people it infected, it killed 2, maybe 3. Next to rabies, that's a participation trophy. But that unimpressive little number got bolted onto a virus that went absolutely everywhere. And everywhere in 1918 meant roughly 1 in 3 people alive on the planet. Stack a 2% kill rate on top of a third of humanity, and you land in the tens of millions. The usual estimate is around 50 million dead in about a year. That is more people than the entire First World War killed in 4. And it didn't politely take the old and the frail the way flu is supposed to. It went after healthy 20-somethings, the strongest immune systems in the room, and turned them against their owners. And the part that should ruin your afternoon, if a 1918 hit the United States today, the low estimate is over 2 million dead. From a virus that kills 2 in 100. That is what reach does to a body count. Which virus is quietly filling out that exact resume right now? It's not on the horror shelf. It's a bird flu called H5N1, and its resume is ugly in all the right ways. Start with lethality. Of the people confirmed to have caught it, roughly half have died. Half. Now, be honest about that number, because the real rate is almost certainly lower. The mild cases never get tested or counted, so treat half as the scary ceiling, not the settled truth. Even a fraction of that, spread wide, is 1918 all over again. And then something changed. This used to be a virus of chickens and the occasional unlucky farmer. Starting in 2024, it pulled a new move. It walked into America's dairy cows. It settled into herds across multiple states, and from there, it started jumping into the people milking them. Usually not as some dramatic killer flu, but as pink eye. You read that right. One of the deadliest viruses we track has, so far, mostly introduced itself to Americans as conjunctivitis. It's even turned up as fragments in something like 1 in 5 cartons of store milk, harmless there because pasteurization kills it, but a quiet hint at how far it has already travelled. That fills in the lethality. The only box still empty is the one that actually keeps the world safe. That box is transmission. And this is the good news, for now. To spread easily between people, the virus needs its key to fit a human lock. Right now, its key is cut for birds. The cells deep in your airway are shaped a little differently than a chicken's, and H5N1's key doesn't quite turn in them. That single mismatch is the whole reason you're not living through a pandemic this morning. It can't reliably pass from person to person and keep the chain going. But yet is doing an enormous amount of work in that sentence. A virus can file its key down with a handful of small mutations, or it can cheat, share a body with an ordinary human flu, swap parts like trading cards, and walk out already fitting the human lock. And the quietly alarming detail is that the changes that let it thrive inside mammals, inside cows, inside people, have already started to show up. The lock isn't picked, but you can hear it rattling. Which is exactly why the people who study this for a living lose more sleep over the boring bird flu than over the dramatic bleeders. When the World Health Organization drew up its 2024 list of priority pathogens, influenza was on it. And when researchers asked nearly 200 disease specialists across almost 60 countries what scared them most, the top answer wasn't Ebola, wasn't some mystery disease X. It was flu. Almost 4 out of 5 of them. There's your answer. The most dangerous virus of 2026 isn't the one with the highest kill rate or the goriest symptoms. It's the deadly enough one that's already in the food supply, already jumping into humans, and one small mutation away from learning to spread. It hasn't taken that last step. It might never. But somewhere out there, in a barn full of cows, it's rehearsing. And for the first time in a long while, all we can really do is watch.